my anime faithful, what is good? Yeah. Index, oh Index, why is this show proving to be one of the top, like, I feel like it's underrated. I mean, there's a lot more people talking about it than some of the other shows I report on, but to be fair, I feel like this show deserves a little bit more attention than I notice it gets around the community. And just in general, it should be getting a lot more publicity from people because it is actually pretty fire, guys. And with this week's episode, it continuously tells us that regardless of what these characters are and what they do, they seemingly can put all of that besides the point and find a more of a moral standpoint to try to stand on. And to see that in these characters is really nice because we already know that Accelerator could rip apart like every single person he meets in this week's episode, but after getting to talk to a guy that he pretty much admires as just being a good guy, being a hero, the definition of whatever that stands for, having him being the one to tell him that everything you've done and everything you've, strived for, you shouldn't put that down as not being a hero or not being a good person. Instead, you're holding that as like a grudge against yourself instead of just putting yourself up on a higher pedestal because he's doing things that some people would never know about because he has the connection to know about the dark sides of just what's going on behind back doors, So even Toma wasn't getting that information to be able to go out and fight those things because he had no connects. So these are the types of things that Accelerator just brings to the field, and he doesn't even know it himself. Oh, that was sick. I dodged that perfectly. Um, and to see that, it sucks because Accelerator is such an awesome character. So to know that he's beating himself up for things that he really can't change, like the image of people's mind of how they see him now, stuff like that, you can't really change simply because people have already seen you one way, so they're going to continue to expect you to always be that way. And that's just how some people hold standards of, relatively either higher up people that they respect or even people that they meet for the first impressions. They hold you to a very high standards of what they know from what they've seen first off. And that's what really feels like Accelerator has on his shoulders for the rest of his life. Even in this week's episode, pulling out a pistol and just downing three people wasn't really a necessarily thing that shocked me, because that's something very easy and casual that he does on a day-to-day basis. So I'm like, yeah, I see you pulling out a gat and ending two people because you need to at this moment. That's just Accelerator, dog, and that's what's so crazy about the guy is he does this all because of certain situations he just finds himself in, and no one's gonna give him the benefit of the doubt of talking most of the stuff out. He's really got to just push the whole entire narrative his own way, even if it's the most violent way possible. But other than that, we really just see Toma kind of just getting thunked around. Like he's literally just being led into an area that the main bad guy knows, the right hand knows, or the right seat knows where he's going this whole time. Not to mention the war that's being caused and the battle that's actually happened or happening is all in the images as well that he wants, because when Toma even gets to the area where he's supposed to be able to find himself in the back of where all the things are located, he straight up finds like a snowman doll on him, and it tells him like verbatim, like, hey, you are, there's these openings that I made for you, so be sure to take them. Like that's literally what he's just told him. He's like, yeah, you noticed the openings? Oh, great. That's exactly where I wanted you to go, because if you don't go that way, you might lose your arm or you might die, and that would just ruin my whole plan. So, yeah, take that opening. Make sure you take it real good because you got to survive. So, that's pretty much how much power this man has right now. And I need to land my ultimate on Bodentor or whoever right now. So, hold on. But yeah, overall, man, we are just being led. Why is it so bad? It has the worst tracking in the game, I swear to God. Um, we're just pretty much being led around at this point to see who and what is probably going to be, or not who or what, but who is going to be able to help us in the long run, because a lot of the people we have on our squad are all, they all have the certain interests in mind to win this war and whatnot, but they all also are, a lot of them been enemies before. A lot of them aren't really trusting, even till now. So it's like this weird war amongst a war amongst a war. So it's really uh, anyone's game at this point, because they're in a situation where no one can be trusted. And even after you pretty much find out that we go back to the church, where the person who's actually at fault for Index's condition is someone on her own team, it's like, what the heck is going on, bro? Like, the leader of the organization that pretty much he's been fighting for and trying to help this whole time is the thing that the right seat was talking about when he said, "Are you putting Index in in a safe environment that you feel is safe because you want to believe it's safe?" And not only that, that's the type of life he was trying to say he was giving her to, is a life that you believe is a safe and shelter life. Is that necessarily the right thing? And we're seeing right now that the choice he's already made for her to be where she is, or to not be able to be able to reach her right now, and how she got in this situation, is the way he's been setting it up through all this time. He's trying to say it's his fault. Anything that happens from here on out is your fault, and no matter what you do, you are being selfish. He's just trying to make Toma feel probably any type of guilt, hatred, anything like that. And if he doesn't, he might be a little bit too focused to be able to win, because that right hand seemingly is still powerful, but it doesn't scare the guy like it would scare other people that it's close. He's absolutely welcoming Toma into this fight. So it's like, yeah, he knows about your hand, and he knows even how dangerous it is, but he wants your hand, bro. So not only has he protected you from certain types of battles, he really just wants you in his sight so he can rip your arm off. And then now we got this guy pretty much raising a giant sky fortress in the air, which is what he's been planning to do. Even the Russians that he's working with didn't know about this. He rises it in the air, and we find out that there's an angel up there just flying around protecting it already, and it ripped a stealth jet in half within 1 millisecond, pretty much, like barely a blink of an eye, ripped that thing apart. So we are about to get some ridiculously angel devils and all this weird magic. Everything is really coming to a crossroads, and it's getting really, really fun to watch. The first time when I saw the angel wings in the beginning, I thought it was going to be the guy who Accelerator like bodied. I was like, no way, is he really about to actually make this worse for everybody? And I mean, it seems like it's still on the table. Like all the people that are joining this fight, I wouldn't doubt if he, shows up. So with all that being said, everybody, I hope you have an awesome day, night, evening, whatever the case it is when you're watching this. Hope you go and check out the JoJo video. I absolutely freaked out in this week's episode of JoJo. It was so lit, not to mention absolutely hype. So if you want to see your boys' impressions then. And I got some pretty good JoJo fights in Jump Force 2 for it. So hope you guys enjoyed the content. Your boy will be here grinding on that day-to-day basis. So if you want more content from me, make sure you subscribe. Hit that like button so you make sure I know you're enjoying it. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. All right. Later, my anime people.